Hello. I would like to introduce Chrono Trigger. I am actually playing this game, finally, after anticipating it for quite some time. However, you might notice that there is no game audio, and that's my own fault. I've been playing this game. I started playing it last night on one of my CRT setups that's kind of off to the side, and I routed everything correctly because I wanted to at least record this locally because of how highly esteemed this game is, just from multiple friends of mine and seeing online what people talk about when it comes to this game. I just forgot to change my game audio routing to not be monitor only and to have it be monitor and output. So that's why I messed up and you don't hear anything. But at least you can see the gameplay on the screen right now. So to make lemonade with lemons, with what I've been given here, I thought I would at least just take the time to talk and provide some commentary about, I guess, somewhat about the game so far, since I literally have only put in an hour in, and with no other context, essentially. But I guess I could also take the time to talk about what I've been doing in my life and where I'm at with streaming and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of the killing two birds with one stone kind of approach that I'm taking with this. So I guess to start, I have been playing retro games a bunch offline, basically for the past few weeks or so. September was a very, very busy month for me with IRL stuff. I had to get a new car. I had to get car insurance for the new car. Work has been picking up a lot for me since mid-September, and it's, I think, starting to slow down a little bit now, but I've just been really busy with that as well. And a number of other things as well that's just taken up a lot of my time here and there, and I've really not had as much time as I would have liked to actually play that many games, whether I'm streaming it or not. So that's kind of why I haven't even touched Silksong in over a month at this point, or even streamed at all, is mostly just because stuff's been going on with me personally. Not again, not bad. It's just I've just been busy with doing all these different things with my car and the like. But I've finally reached a point where I've kind of settled down with all that, and I don't feel like I need to spend that kind of time anymore on those things that were needed and necessary, and okay, let's go ahead and get back to what I'm trying to do. But in the last few weeks, or I would say more basically since the start of this month, I have not really been able to figure out what I wanted to do exactly, because there's I wanted to get back to playing Silksong. I still kind of want to do that, but I've just not prioritized it right now just because I've spent such a little amount of time playing the game. I would like to essentially get back to it some point before the end of the year, but I don't have any idea about that at this current point in time. So, but it's something that I'm thinking about doing. And then one of the other things I'm very much thinking about is Sword of the Sea speedruns. I still very much want to do that. I still want to be involved in that community and speedrun the game, actually consistently doing ILs, doing full game runs, trying out multiple different categories and the like. I did actually submit a couple of runs to the Binary Breakers Hope for the Holidays event that'll be happening in December. There has not been a decision made quite yet on both of the categories to see which one gets accepted, if either of them do, but it would be nice if they could be I could get like a consensus on like whatever the results are for the games, for the submissions for that event. Sword of the Sea also did get submitted for AGDQ as well, which is cool. It's just kind of funny how the timing for submission deadlines for both Hope for the Holidays and for AGDQ were the same day. They both ended on October 5th, and I got my submissions on the 4th, so that's a way that you can kind of tell I have not been able to spend all that much time actually doing anything with the game besides at least getting a submission in, because I do want to do stuff with the game from a marathon standpoint. If Sword of the Sea makes it into AGDQ, I will definitely, make plans to actually go out there again and actually be part of, I guess, commentary for a run. I would assume so, because we definitely have some pretty capable runners in the community right now that could, probably do very well at the actual event. But if the Hope for the Holidays ones gets accepted, then I have to participate in that one, meaning I would definitely be focusing a lot more on actually speedrunning it and even like streaming it to a degree. Like, I think there would be, especially on the weekends when I have a lot more time, I would be down to stream for like 2-3 hours at a time, depending on how much a lot of time I feel like I have. But yeah, I still very much am thinking about the game. I'm still very involved in the Discord there. I'm still moderating and verifying runs pretty regularly as they come in. So like, it's not like super duper active like it was the first couple of weeks of even being like basically the first couple of weeks after the game released, right before Silksong came out. It was quite active, and now it's like there's activity basically each day. There's still been like a new runs. In fact, Newt literally just last night got a sub 38. He got the first 37 in New Game Any Percent, which is really cool, and I am excited to see how much further the game can be pushed. I would love to see a 36, maybe in the next month, depending on who picks it up, but Newt is going to be away on vacation, or on holiday, I should say, for a bit. So he got a last few bit of runs and a 37 to kind of end things before, he goes on this holiday break. But he's just like our world record holder right now with a lot of the runs that he has. I think he has both New Game plus Any Percent and New Game plus No Major Glitches records, which are like the two most competitive categories. And but I wouldn't be surprised if someone else comes along and ends up beating those in time. So I'm definitely keeping a close eye on what's going on with Sword of the Sea, and that's pretty cool. I just want to get around to actually consistently running the game more myself. Like I said, whether it be ILs or be full game runs, I'm still starting with doing New Game plus No Major Glitches, because the Any Percent skips and out of bounds stuff looks pretty difficult for me to do, and I'm still trying to do stuff using the blue armor and not the red armor in Sword of the Sea, so that's kind of something that I'm still trying to push for, essentially. So that's like been on my mind a lot. Not playing Silksong, not playing Sword of the Sea, like two really, really big releases that have happened this year that I'm very, very excited and pretty thrilled about. And then I guess like somewhat recently I've kind of picked up playing Super Smash Bros. Melee again, like a little bit. Like I went to my local, I guess to go to back up a little bit. At the beginning of September, like basically right around this time, I started having car problems and started thinking about buying a new car. I also bought one more CRT off of eBay. It is a Sony 9PT20, and it's basically the consumer model, the 9-inch consumer model I was looking to get, and I found one on eBay for pretty good condition. It was still pretty overpriced all things considered, but the guy shipped it fine, and yeah, so that's basically the last CRT I'm probably ever buying off of eBay. I'm pretty much set on all the CRTs that I want for the time being. I have like one more that I want. I want a black JVC D series. It's 27 inches. I'm not particular on the model exactly. It's just as long as it's a black JVC D series, it's 27 inches. That's kind of the big one, holy grail, if you will, white whale of a CRT that I'm trying to, hopefully at some point, find. I don't know, but like obviously I'm probably not going to find it on eBay. If I do, it would be for local pickup only. But I would just hope that I can find something on Marketplace and snag it that's, you know, not a ridiculously long drive for me and stuff like that. But that'd be the very last CRT, and I don't think I'm gonna find that D series for quite some time. There was actually a 27-inch D series that was silver that was nearby like a week or two ago, but I really specifically want the black one because I think that just design looks really, really cool. And all the other consumer sets that I have gotten are all black TVs, and I just think they look really, really sick. Yeah, so I bought this 9PT20, and because it's my lightest CRT that I have, just straight up, I think it's like 12 pounds. It's super duper light. I can carry it very easily with one hand. And I already have a 9-inch Symphonic TV that has a carrying case with it. I bought that off of eBay, but I picked it up locally, like 30 minutes away from me, which was pretty cool. And I got it for actually $80. So considering it came with this carrying case, and the carrying case alone is probably worth quite a bit, I think I got a pretty decent deal for that one. But the primary purpose of me buying that set was to bring with me to Melee Locals to have as a setup, and because of the carrying case, it allows me to carry it with one hand pretty easily. So now that I have two CRTs that I can very easily carry with one hand each, I can make one trip from my car to the venue with two Wiis in my backpack and two CRTs in each hand. And I think I can manage that actually pretty well. And I wanted to try that for my local that's literally 8-minute drive away from me, super duper close. And so when I went there last Monday, I brought my two little setups, and I actually went there 2 weeks prior to last Monday, and I didn't play the game at all. I was actually focused on trying to sell, in discussions with selling my PVMs, because now that I have 8 CRTs currently, and I am still trying to get rid of my 2 PVMs because I have just too many CRTs, and that, I am using all 6. Like the main 6 that I have right now, I'm using on a regular basis. It's just the 2 PVMs that are just kind of sitting on the floor not doing anything. I need to sell or trade with someone, and I have been in discussions with someone on doing that. So that was what I was primarily doing 3 weeks ago. But last Monday, someone asked to actually play me in the game, and I started playing it, and I actually was pretty surprised at how well I felt like I was doing, considering I hadn't touched Melee in a month and a half. And that basically has kind of just sprouted the idea of oh, well, I guess I kind of want to play Melee some again, and maybe practice here and there, play people on Slippy, try to not really do unranked unless there's just no one around, and see where that goes. But I don't know if I want to enter anything anytime soon. I know there's a tournament on the 1st of November in Wilmington that obviously is a bit far, but if there's a good attendance for that, then I could make it. It's just most of our very competitive or very high attendance locals that we have, which is anywhere between 20 to 30 people at times, those tend to be during the weekdays. And even the local that's really close to me has been having pretty low attendance numbers lately. I'd have to drive an hour and a half away on a Tuesday to go to some of the more competitive ones, I suppose. But that's a really hard ask for me to do, considering, you know, I still work a full-time job, and my job has been very busy lately, and it'd be a very tight kind of squeeze, and, you know, so, like, if I really, really want to, I could, but it's just, it's a lot more easier for me to do tournaments on the weekends, so that's kind of what I'm aiming for. But yeah, it's like either tournaments are happening like basically every weekday, like literally there's something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. Not literally every week, but like kind of a rotational bi-weekly kind of thing going on for a good number of them. And but like weekend tournaments are kind of sparse. We don't have them that very often, and even when we do, most of the time they're in Wilmington, which is like 3.5 hours away from me. Quite far. Now with a new car that has cruise control, that makes the trip a lot better and not as a pain in the butt to make that drive. So I'd be much more willing to do so, but I still would only want to do it if there's like a lot of people going, and it's like more of like one of our bigger events that's fun to be at, instead of it being like some small tiny local that, you know, a 7-hour round trip is probably not worth it at that point in time. So yeah, it's just like a thought. I tend to have like phases of Melee where I'll like be on playing it for like 2 months, or sometimes even just a few weeks, and then I'll like be on a hiatus for like 2 to 3 months after that. Like I'm very on and off with the game, and it just comes and goes in phases, and I just kind of accept that. So, you know, but like I'm also still trying to play like retro games daily. Like if there's any gaming that I have definitely been kind of consistently doing since like the end of September, it's been playing retro games. I still want to do that, of course, because I have these CRTs to play on, and they're really, really awesome. I've been playing, like, over the weekend I played a good bit of Animal Crossing on the GameCube. I've been playing Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I played some Golden Sun, like, I think a couple weeks back or so, and those have been pretty fun. And I've just came around to Chrono Trigger, and I want to, like, also Twilight Princess. I can't forget, I started the month off actually playing Twilight Princess for like 5 days in a row, because I just love that game, and I will replay it a billion times over and over again and basically never get tired of it. It is my favorite game of all time, for a good reason. So yeah, that was, and just rotating, basically each day I play on a different CRT, and I'll like go up to 5 days with a single game. So with Chrono Trigger here, this is the first day of me playing it, and I'm going to do at least 5. And I wanted to record each and every one of these, even though I haven't recorded any of my other playthroughs of any other games, just because I didn't feel it was that necessary or that important. Just because, you know, they're not like super monumental games, but like Chrono Trigger in particular, because of its reputation as being like arguably one of the greatest games ever made, not just on the Super Nintendo, but like period, like in all gaming, is kind of a very, very, you know, I want to try to at least not fully play this offline entirely and have some footage of me playing it, recording it off the side. I have really long cables. I have some really long composite cable. I have a really long, like 25-foot composite cable and like a 25-foot audio cable. So I'm actually able to have wires go all the way from my CRTs that are on this table that's like 10 however many feet away from me or so from where I'm sitting right now, and have it go all the way over to my distribution amp and go into my retro tank at my desktop to do that, which is pretty cool, because I got that before to do some fun little things with my CRTs and streaming stuff and putting multiple like a single game feed on as many of my CRTs at once as possible, kind of stuff that I was doing back in May. That was fun, and so it's nice that like I'm still able to use these longer cables to my advantage to actually be able to do something like this. But the idea around, I guess, this playthrough is it's just going to be the game footage and the game audio, and that's it. Like, I'm not going to have my microphone be recorded because I'm actually going to be playing... I've been playing the games through the CRT speakers because I like the novelty of them, obviously. I think they actually... Honestly, some of my CRTs sound pretty darn good for CRT speakers when you really take a listen to them, so... That's another reason why I like doing it. I also have my, I have like the audio kind of set up in an interesting way, especially for two of my setups, since they use multiple mono audio TVs. So what I do is for the left audio channel, I route that to the left CRT, and the right audio channel to the CRT on the right. And then with my table setup, which I've kind of dubbed it as CRT Island 2.0, because CRT Island 1.0 was when I had like 5-6 CRTs all up against the wall back in like May for display or whatever. And so now that I've downsized a couple and I've sold a couple of those CRTs to some friends or traded for some Super Nintendo games, it's obviously the usefulness of having that island is not there anymore. I've moved things around, but now I have like 3 smaller CRTs sitting on top of a table. And so the left one is my 13M42, the middle one is a PVM 8040, and the one on the right is my 9-inch Symphonic. So it's easy to move stuff when I like want to take down one of those TVs to take to a local. It's very easy to do. And it's really cool that I can just kind of set it up to take advantage of the fact that, like, sure, I have, like, these are mono audio TVs, but I can hook them up in a way to have stereo audio coming out of them. And it makes for a very cool and interesting experience, especially when you balance the audio right. And I don't know, the novelty of playing these games on smaller screens is just something I think is really, really cool. So that's definitely something that I like doing. And then next to me, to my immediate right, I have 2 consumer Sony sets. I have the 9PT20 sitting on top, a little kind of like a wooden shelf kind of thing on top of my VCR, and then right to the right of that, I have my 20M20, which is a nice big 20-inch Sony Trinitron consumer set. I believe it's from 95. I know the 9PT20 is from 95. I think the 20M20 is actually from like 96 or something like that. But, you know, mid-90s sets, and I'm pretty happy with both of them. But I also have both of these CRTs hooked up in a way where the 9PT20 takes the left channel and the 20M20 on the right takes the right channel. And I think that's really cool. And then my last set, which is the Panasonic 27-inch, I think it's the 27CT 13G or something like that. That behind me, that's hooked up with external edifier speakers. And they sound amazing. They sound like super, super nice. And I have S-Video hooked up to that one as well. So in terms of like picture quality and audio quality, it's like the bee's knees in that regard, which is great. And it's a nice comfy spot too. So, but as far as like actually recording stuff on there, it gets a little bit complicated because then I have to use like my backup laptop and move my RetroTink, use S-Video cables instead of composite cable stuff, and it'll be fun to set that up later on, but I'm not doing that like right now. I'm still doing just composite for the time being. But yeah, I wanted to specifically record Chrono Trigger because, again, I've regretted in the past not at least recording locally me playing through certain games that especially if I knew that they were like influential in some kind of way, and then like I go through the entire game and I'm like, oh my god, I love this game so much and I can't stop thinking about it. And in hindsight, I'm always like, damn, I kind of wish I at least recorded something for this, and instead of literally nothing. And so I'm trying to reprimand that some way by doing it with Chrono Trigger at the very least. Like, for example, when I played through Signalis, I believe I actually did stream some of it. I didn't stream my entire playthrough of it back in February of 2023. But I never saved the VODs of any of me playing. And I'm pretty sure like I had my mic on and everything. And it's like, oh, well, shoot. I kind of wish I didn't do that. Or kind of wish I at least saved those VODs when I had the chance. But alas, that's, past. And I felt kind of sad about that. Because I do like reminiscing on stuff that I've played. Especially if it's a first-time blind playthrough. So... yeah, even though I haven't been streaming, and, streaming would mean I could basically only play on, like, 2 CRTs instead of, like, all 6, I'm still putting in some effort to at least record, locally, me actually playing through the game. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I don't know if I'll do this for that many other games, in all honesty. It depends on the game, I suppose. Because I think most games are going to be, like, I'll play for, like, one day for, like, a short, 30 minutes to an hour period of time. That's kind of the goal, I guess, with each of these sessions. Is they're not really going to be much longer than an hour. 30 minutes to an hour at like, most. So... because they're relatively short for a Twitch stream, but not too short for a YouTube series, I suppose. I thought, why not at least record stuff locally and just upload them as YouTube VODs and have that be that. Like, it's not like a full live streaming experience, but at least it's, some sort of preservation to be had there, and I think something is better than nothing, especially when it comes to games like this. But yeah, and then of course, like for other games that are like on hardware that I can't really record locally for, like I have a DS, and I have a bunch of DS games that I want to play. I don't know if I have that many DS games that I want to record or make VODs of. But if I want to, I would pretty sure I need like a 3DS and like a specifically modded 3DS to actually capture that footage and the like. And I don't know, I like playing on my DS Lite to begin with anyway, so I don't know, like DS games are difficult to try to, if I want to record them, that would be tough to do, I think. But like GameCube, SNES, N64, basically pretty much every other console, like even Game Boy Advance, because I have a Game Boy player, those all can be locally recorded if I so desire. It just depends. I think Chrono Trigger being the first one for me to actually do is kind of reasonable, in honesty. I could be open to doing this for other games in the future. Because I know earlier this year I was trying to do like a bite-sized gaming kind of little video series where I played like Minish Cap for a little bit, and I played Resident Evil 4 for a little bit, and I had it like a stream setup where I was using like my webcam and my microphone and all that, but I wasn't obviously having a live chat in front of me, and that was a fun idea for a bit, but it means that I also can't fully experience all the CRTs that I do have. So this, I think, doing it like this, where it's just the gameplay and the game audio and that's that, I think is fine. I don't need to be talking a lot of the time. Like honestly, when I'm playing games casually off stream, I tend to not even talk much anyway. Like sometimes I'll have like a thing that'll happen that will make me like say something like, oh, like that'll be like surprising or funny, but most of the time when I'm playing stuff casually, I'm really not saying much of anything at all. I'm very chatty when like I know I guess I'm being recorded or I'm on stream and stuff like that, or I have like someone that's talking to me. I'm very chatty, but obviously when I like am not streaming, it's just a different story entirely. So I thought this was like a pretty decently fair approach. But yeah, so getting back to kind of what I've been trying to think about doing. So like, there's thinking about Silk Song, thinking about Sword of the Sea speedruns, thinking about Melee again, and retro gaming, And it's like, like I had like a shower thought yesterday morning. I thought, because in the past, I have rotated through, like, if there's like 3 or 4 or so games that I want to play like at once or do stuff with at once, I tend to do a thing where I like would rotate through each one. So I would play one thing for a set amount of time and then move on to the next thing and keep doing that and then cycle through that list of a few games over and over. But I before was doing it where each day would like reset. So like if I had game 1, game 2, game 3, and I only got to games 1 and 2 on a day, and then the next day came around, I would still start with game 1 and 2. Now I think I'm changing it to where if I do games 1, 2, and 3, and I only get to games 1 and 2 on a particular day, I'm still, no matter what, I'm going to start the next day with game 2. So it'll be 2, 3, and then 1, and then the day after that it'll be 3, 1, and then 2, and then it'll repeat. And I think that helps a lot as well. Also, I guess to kind of provide a little bit more context on routines that have changed. So you can kind of actually see this at the end of my first Secret of Mana VOD. That there was a really big lightning storm that happened. That was July 1st. And the stream cut out literally because there was a lightning bolt that was so close that it struck the tree just outside my apartment, and it cut out my internet, and it, like, I didn't have internet for like 3 days. It got my computer's motherboard, even though it was plugged into a power strip, it was plugged into a surge protector, it still got zapped for the motherboard, and I couldn't have my PC for like 12 days, so I had to use my backup laptop for a while once the internet came back on. And it also wiped out my Valve Index headset, my VR headset. And that's been the thing that so, the internet came back after a few days, the PC came back after a couple weeks, but I've still been out of VR. I've not had my VR headset in literally since late June. I've not been in VR since late June. And once I figured out that my headset was totally fried and I needed a new one, I'm like, all right, let me go get, I guess I needed an upgrade because I've had the Index for 4.5 years. And, it was probably time for me to switch to something better, because there's been newer, better headsets that have come on the market. And so I decided, oh, you know what? I've heard about this Big Screen Beyond 2, and so I want to check it out. I guess I'll go and buy one. And so that's what I did. I ordered one on the 20th of July, and I got the eye tracking version too. So like I might as well get the eye tracking for it, the audio strap, so I can like have like a microphone on it and everything, and just see how it is essentially. And pretty much I have just been waiting on this headset to arrive. It is currently October 13th, and I still have no notification about when it's going to get to me. All I know is a timeline from Big Screen saying, you should probably get the headset by the end of the month. It shouldn't spill over into November, but I mean, the last time we got an update was like a week before September ended or so. So, it's been a few weeks, but I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks or like within the next week or so I get like some sort of notification about it being shipped. That'd be great. I look forward to it. I definitely want to be in VR again. I've missed being in VR, and so that whole lightning thing that happened, the reason I'm even bringing that up is because those 3 days that I had like no internet or anything, I started to go on walks first thing in the morning. I decided I was tired of waking up in the morning and immediately just getting on my phone and not getting out of bed for like up to an hour most mornings, and I'm just like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna do some exercise, I'm gonna go on a walk around my apartment complex, or even on like the roads and the sidewalks around, and take different routes and things. And I've been doing that literally every morning since the 3rd of July, and I haven't really stopped. Even if it's starting to get colder, I just wear a hoodie or a jacket and bundle up, and heck, when it starts getting even colder, I'll probably start going on jogs. I'll probably start running, because obviously you warm up as you move your body more. And I've been getting up at an average, like at first I was getting up kind of early. I was getting up at like 6:30 or so, because the sun was rising pretty early back in like July. But now that the sun is like rising a lot later, because it's becoming later in the year, it doesn't really rise until like 7:20 or 30 or so a.m. So my average time waking up has been like around 7:30 or so. But I go on a walk. For like depending on my route that I take, it usually is almost always at least 30 minutes of a walk. And sometimes 45. Sometimes I've taken routes a much longer for like an hour, but those, I don't usually do multiple of those in a row, or like multiple days of those in a row. So, but yeah, like I at least go on like a decent walk first thing in the morning, and then I just kind of like the solitude of the morning. Like I tend to not be distracted. I don't check my phone basically as much as possible, like at all, if I can help it. And I think I've been doing a very good job of doing that. But yeah, kind of eliminating as many distractions as I can. And there's like not many people are awake from like 7:30 to like noon or so most times. Like not even like I don't even start like getting messages from people until like 11 most days or anything like that. So I have a lot of time in the morning, and I was unemployed for pretty much all of July, and I didn't start working again until middle of August. So I had a lot of extra free time to do things in the morning. And so basically, in the time between me going on a walk and taking a shower, I have decided, you know, this is a decent chunk of time to kind of do whatever I'd like to do, and then move on with the rest of the day and my rest of my morning routine. So the idea with this whole 3-game rotation thing that I am doing is, whatever the first game is that I'm planning on playing that day, a particular day, will be done between me going on a walk and me taking a shower. And again, because it's going to be for like 30 minutes to an hour, it shouldn't, take up that much time. I should still have plenty of time in the morning to do other things like work-related stuff and the like. And because like there's been times, I think even in like July and August, I was reading like manga for that period of time, or a book or like a guide or something, or sometimes even just just in thought about stuff for a bit. So yeah, that's I think this morning routine stuff's been really, really helpful for me, and I recommend it to anyone that like wants to try to like do things. Like I feel like the time of day that I'm able to get as many things as I want done is, between like 7:30 and noon or 1 p.m. or so. Like once it starts becoming the afternoon, that's when it starts to become, I get more easily distracted. I guess also another proponent of this is that I don't get on my computer or I try to not turn my computer basically on at all for like the first 4 hours of me being awake. Or if I do, to do something like, I guess, for example, play Silk Song or Sword of the Sea or anything like that, it would be to literally only open like OBS and the game and nothing else. Like I don't open Discord, I don't open a web browser, I open nothing else. So like I like, because as soon as I open Discord or a web browser or anything like that, I am met with a whole bunch of different tabs. I'm met with a whole bunch of things that just immediately can start distracting me off the cuff, and I'm like, yeah, let's try to reduce, keep my principle of reducing as many distractions as possible so I can focus on doing the things that I actually want to do. And I think that's been working out pretty well, and I plan on continuing doing that basically for as long as I can. Oh yeah, also after I take a shower, I will light an incense, and I'll burn some incense and meditate as well. So I've been making a habit of actually, I do, before even the meditating, I do yoga. I do a good bit of yoga to, because I remember seeing videos or reading that doing yoga kind of prepares the mind to for meditation, and I think I definitely tend to agree with that. Also, it just feels nice to stretch first thing in the morning, but I'll do yoga and then meditation, and then I kind of start doing whatever else that I wanted to do for the day. So yeah, I was struggling to figure out, basically, since late September, what do I want to do? Do I want to stream? Because there's other casual games that I wanted to try to stream, but there's speedrunning stuff that I want to try to do as well. So I guess in terms of streaming, I still kind of don't know. I know the most immediate thing that I can think of that I'm thinking of doing is Sword of the Sea. Like I mentioned earlier, is doing speedruns, especially on the weekends when I have a lot more time and I can stream for longer periods of time. But in general, when I play Sword of the Sea or when I speedrun it, it's gonna probably be most of the time off stream for 1 hour at a time, doing ILs or a single full game run or something like that, and that'll be it. So if you're paying attention to my YouTube channel here, then I'll be uploading more ILs and stuff around Sword of the Sea speedrunning, because basically a few days after the game came out, I made a speedrun movement tutorial video, which actually did pretty decently. So I'd like to do more with the game, honestly. I definitely really want to do more, so that's gonna be a main focal point. I will probably try to stream some of it here and there. But as far as streaming casual stuff, I genuinely don't know. I'm kind of liking, I guess also, one thing about the way that I've been playing retro games is I'll play them in 1 or 3 or 5 day increments, depending on the game and depending on my level of interest with the game. So something like Need for Speed Most Wanted, I played for 1 day. But for Animal Crossing, I have a bit more interest in it, and I wanted to play it for at least 3 days in a row, or at least 3 sessions in a row. And then for something kind of major like Chrono Trigger or Twilight Princess that I just really enjoy, or I think is a big RPG that has a lot to it, those are going to be dedicated for at least 5 sessions or 5 days in a row. But I kind of like this idea of kind of choosing retro games to kind of play at random instead of following a strict schedule like what I was doing before, especially earlier in the first quarter of this year. So I don't know. I would like to return to that, because there's definitely a number of other SNES titles I'd really like to try to finish and play the entirety of on stream, but it's just been really difficult. I'll be really honest. It's especially evident with my Secret of Mana playthrough. I started, granted, the lightning stuff happening definitely put a hamper on that for a few weeks, so that's a bit of an anomaly there, but, even once I got, all my computer and streaming stuff back up and running, I still really struggled to actually continuously play Secret of Mana until, it was August 5th. And I'm oh, well, I also am trying to play Fire Emblem, Mystery of the Emblem, but then also Sword of the Sea's coming out on the 19th, and I'm I'm pressed for time. I really need to get on top of this. So, because again, I started Secret of Mana, my playthrough of it on stream at the beginning of July, and I did not finish the game for a month and a half, which is way too damn long to try to finish a game. So finishing games is just, it's difficult. So that's also another reason why I haven't really tackled Hollow Knight Silksong really that much at all, is because I know based on the playtime that my other friends have been playing it and talking about it. Like, I think even like my best friend Chris, he has put like over 50 hours in or something so far. Like, he's beaten the game, but there's still so many more things he's trying to do. There's just a lot of time that goes into it, and I don't like feeling like I'm stuck on something for a really long period of time. I much more prefer the idea of like, I'm gonna have a period of time, I'm gonna have like a session, or, you know, a few days or a day, or even sometimes close to a week with the 5-day ones, like I'm doing with Chrono Trigger, where I like spending a consistent amount of time, or like a period or so, playing a game, but without the stipulation of like, oh, I should finish it. You know, like, I'm fine with like spending 4 or 5 hours on a game and then putting it away and then coming back to it later when I want to, or when I feel like it, or select it at random, or whatever reasoning for it, basically. But like, I kind of like, you know, playing games in bite-sized chunks. That's kind of the idea that I was trying to do earlier this year with the whole bite-sized gaming thing, but I'm just not been recording most of them until, you know, now with Chrono Trigger, essentially. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, mentally where I'm at. Oh yeah, I guess another big thing that I spent a lot of time in September doing was I've been in VR chat for over 5 years now. I guess the 5th anniversary date for me, technically speaking, I created my account like June 16th, 2020, but I only played VR chat for like 2 days, and I was super socially anxious and didn't really do much with it at all. I didn't start playing it regularly until October 3rd, which I go into a lot of detail on that in like my 1 year of VR chat video that's like over 5 hours long, that I have that when I made that in like 2021, so I don't really need to repeat any of that stuff here. But yeah, I like spent the majority of September also going through literally all of my VR chat photos, pretty much all the YouTube videos that I've like made during, like, literally from October 3rd to now, like the past 5 years, and reminiscing on like a lot of things. I spent a lot of time in September, not really nostalgia tripping, but just kind of like looking back on like the last 5 years, especially with it being very focused on VR chat stuff. I have over, I think, almost 12,000 VR chat photos, I'm pretty sure, and I went through basically every single one of them, and that takes a long time. I was doing like 2 months at a time, and there was even a lot of days where I didn't even have the time to look at those photos. But I spent a lot of time, and that was like another thing in September that took a lot of my time away, because I wanted to do this, like, and this is like a once. I'm not gonna do anything further than 5 years. So like in another 5 years, when it's been a full decade since I started playing VR chat, I'm not going to go back a full 10 years, because that's way too frickin' much. Like, it was already a lot for me to do just 5, so in 5 years, it'll be from 2025 to 2030 is kind of the idea that I'm doing for that. But I obviously, I didn't want to make a video for that whole thing. It was literally just me taking the time to just go through all the photos and reminisce about things and revisit things in my mind and stuff like that, and kind of like close the book, if you will, on that, you know, like this past 5 years is being, I mean, there's like been multiple chapters within that like kind of 5 years, so I can't like say it's closing the book on a single chapter or a single book or whatever. It's just like, well, here's the next 5 years, and it's, you know, bringing a new headset essentially, so that'll be fun. But yeah, that's what I spent a lot of time in September doing, in addition to the car stuff, in addition to the CRT stuff, in addition to work picking up, and that's why I haven't streamed in a month and a half and the like. So yeah, I don't know. I've been also like thinking a lot how I felt really good about the streaming routine that I had in the first quarter of this year. I was streaming like very consistent 4 days a week schedule of like 3 to 4 hours at a time, making excellent progress through the games that I wanted to play through, speedrunning them and the like. And that like whole retro gaming kind of scheduling thing that I want to do, like I still have that spreadsheet. Obviously I still have things I want to do there. I don't know. I might come back to that stuff at some point. Because again, like I said, there's like 5 major, SNES titles I want to get through. Like, I mean, one of them is Super Metroid. I literally want to still dedicate stream time to learning the speed run for Super Metroid for any percent, probably KPDR, the normal route or whatever. But like, just like 2.5 weeks of just Super Metroid speedrun learning would be nice. I'd like to do that at some point. I literally actually postponed me starting that. I was supposed to start that like August 23rd or so, but like Sword of the Sea came out, and then it proved to be a really cool opportunity to engage in a brand new speed game, like from basically the day the game launched, essentially. And I'm like, wow, I've never had this opportunity before, so this is really cool. And I mean, also just Sword of the Season, actually, like, I never would have thought Sword of the Sea would be an actual super fun speed game with a lot of depth to it, because it's made by the same team, Giant Squid, that made Abzu and The Pathless. And I played both of those games, and they're both very, like, chill. The Pathless had actually some pretty decent movement mechanics, but nothing as in depth as the stuff that I see in Sword of the Sea, like, or especially for New Game Plus. Like, holy crap. It's been blowing my mind ever since the game came out, and ever since I've gotten to New Game Plus stuff, that I'm like, holy crap, the potential for this game is incredible. And it's been a big driving factor for me wanting to speedrun something. I've literally been, like, craving so badly throughout most of this year to have something to speedrun again. Like, in the whole like 5-year reflection period of me looking back, thinking, looking back at VR chat photos, I was also looking back at like what I was speedrunning back in, ignore my phone, I have my fucking notifications on, but I didn't turn my phone on silent, lol. I don't even know if the mic probably picked that up. I don't know. It's fine. What was I saying? Yeah, like, the thing about, great, now I've like brain farted because of this stupid, this thing. I should have probably silenced my phone. It's fine. Yeah, oh yeah, so I was talking about speedrunning stuff, because when in my like 5-year reflection thing, I also looked at what I was speedrunning back in like 2020 and 2020, primarily 2021 and 2022, and the game and community that I was very, very involved with back then was Diabolical Time Trials, to be specific. I really got involved with that game for a number of months, basically for like from January 2021 or February 2021, I think more specifically, all the way until like May of 2022. So like for almost a full year and a half, I very consistently played that. We have like, there's a whole leaderboard for it. There was a very active community. They had like events, they had like competitions, they had like week-long periods of submitting for a map that was either newly created or had been created previously, and people would like submit their times for like a whole league of things. Like, it was like a super awesome, cool speedrunning community to be a part of. And then when it kind of basically died off mid 2022 and hasn't really been the same since then, because it's been moved on to a different game, like Momentum Mod, I think, is kind of still in alpha, but like it's been getting better and better as time's gone on. I could look into doing that more, but you can technically still play Diabolical today. I was even thinking of maybe trying to do some more Diabolical stuff off stream, but I have other things that I think are a little bit more higher priority. But like, I was thinking like, man, I've really missed that whole being involved with Diabolical and also Quake to a degree as well, because I was pretty involved with Quake during 2021 as well. It's pretty like almost interchangeable how tied I was with both Diabolical and Quake at the same time. If you go back far enough, like to my VODs, I'm sure you'll be able to see like a number of those. Both of the, a lot of the Diabolical stuff is actually unlisted, but it's on the leaderboard website. But the Quake stuff is definitely still public, especially like my times that I felt like were really hard for me to beat back then. They're still there, so I wanted to obviously keep those. But yeah, I had been craving being consistently involved in a speedrunning community for like quite a while, and when I finished playing Super Metroid casually back in July of 2023, and I started immediately checking out Twitch streams and speedrunners for the game, I came across Shiny Zenny and got pretty involved with watching Super Metroid a lot and telling myself, yeah, I do want to speedrun this game eventually. And, well, over 2 years later, almost 2.5 years later, I still haven't really started. Hell, even my friend Chris has started playing like speedrunning and getting into Super Metroid well before me. He did it. I think he was starting to do it over the summer. I still kind of wanted to do it, and I think the Super Metroid community has been great to just hang out and watch and socialize in. Like, I think they've been awesome for that. But in terms of me like actually trying to learn and actually trying to grind out a time and learning a route and all that, I haven't really done that. Like, I was kind of trying to do that, I guess, a little bit with Link to the Past, but that just, there was a number of things I wasn't liking about that one. Community is like kind of a part of it, but I think mostly it's just I didn't have an FX Pack Pro at all back in March, and I didn't order one until May. And I was trying to just do runs, like really casual Master Sword runs off of just like the regular cartridges and original hardware and all that. And the first 3 bosses in the game are all like pretty difficult, especially the Landamolas are quite hard, even for like veteran runners of the game. Like, they can be really troublesome. And me just not dying was a big task. Like, I basically kind of was forced to try to get a FX Pack Pro eventually, because like I need a practice ROM to actually practice those fights, and I just was being stubborn about like just trying to do it without a practice ROM, and that's not ideal. So I knew for Super Metroid it's like, okay, I can't just try to play through on just the cartridge without any kind of practice ROM. I need to use a practice ROM, so I have an FX Pack Pro, I have an SD card ready to go. I haven't used it yet or anything like that, but it's there. I have the things that I need to get going with that. But yeah, Super Metroid is something I wanted to try to be a lot more involved with on the speedrunning side of things, but it kinda hasn't really taken off, like I said, due to a number of circumstances. But when Sword of the Sea came around, it's like, oh, this is the first time I feel like I actually really want to be involved with a speedrunning community since Diabolical. Like, basically since, like, 3.5 years. And that's, like, really saying, that's a long period of time. Like, that itch to really get into a speed game for that long of a hiatus, I guess, is, it's weighed on my mind a bit, but it's exciting because not only do I get to do it for a really cool game, really beautiful, awesome, amazing, fun game that like you can beat literally in a single day, in a single session. It's like 3-4 hours. Like, go play it right now. It's super, super good. But like it's kind of like a perfect storm of like it's new, it's beautiful, it's fun as hell to play. There's a pretty active community right now of people that like want to speedrun it and want to do the different categories. Like, and I became a moderator for it because I just like knew that like this is the thing. This is it. This is what I've been waiting for. This is the game that I have wanted to find to try to speedrun and be very, very involved with for quite a while now, and I am honestly pretty excited about that, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it'll go, and marathon events and all that'll happen for it, and whatever time I decide to get. I don't know if I'm going to try to get world record. I don't think I'm trying to do that much with it. But yeah, I mean, I think that kind of honestly sums up most of how I feel about what's been going on. Because I believe this VOD is actually about to be done. It's been an hour, and I only played it for like an hour. So yeah, future VODs of this will be with game audio and me not talking. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Y'all have a good rest of your day.